Grotto. Joel, Raoul, and Jeanette enter a decisive moment. While the hearts of the three still struggle with hurt and injustice, secrets kept for years begin to surface and promise to completely change the course of this story. In the next chapter of the telenovela Corazón Acelerado, Zilla discreetly investigates Agrato's story with Ronnie's help, trying to discover if there is any hidden connection between the young woman in Joel's past and Kuko's past. And the mere possibility that Agrado might be Diana leaves Diana completely desperate. Zilla also begins to connect the dots when she realizes that the medal João Raul cherishes so much belonged to Cecilia. This discovery triggers an alarm in her manipulative mind. Quickly, she begins to think of a dangerous strategy, getting closer to João Raul, believing that this can prevent Agrado from getting close to the singer again, but the twists and turns don't. And to top the air, elsewhere in the city, Eduardo decides to have a serious conversation with Agrado. The singer believes that the time has come to end all the secrets. With a heavy heart, she advises her friend to tell João the whole truth about their shared past. After all, sometimes silence can hurt much more than the truth. At the same time, Lua observes João Raul's behavior and decides to confront her friend. She asks him directly if the singer has truly managed to forget Brada. The question leaves João Raul thoughtful, because deep down he knows that certain feelings are impossible to erase. While emotions intensify, Paul Hex surprises everyone by making a moving tribute to Jeanette on his radio program, praising her strength and her story of struggle. The words deeply touch the woman's heart, but also awaken the attentive gazes of those who prefer to see her defeated. Amidst all this, Lorzincio witnesses an unexpected moment. He sees Jeanette kissing Pajares. The scene stirs up old feelings he believed he had overcome. Sometimes, the past returns silently, and when least expected, the heart begins to beat faster again. Meanwhile, a new mystery arises when Rosal finds Nora's herbal book after using the healer's preparation in Senilara's juice. Not fully understanding the object's value, she decides to keep the book for a while. But the most explosive moment happens when Naing finds Eduarda at João Raul's house. During a tense argument, Eduarda ends up letting slip a dangerous revelation. Agrado is Diana. Realizing her mistake, she tries to mislead the villain, but suspicion has already been planted. And when the truth begins to get closer, it becomes impossible to stop destiny from taking its course. Why is it that in stories like this, no matter how much the lies try to survive, the truth always finds a way to surface? Before continuing, click the like button and comment on which city you're watching the telenovela from. Agrado sees her own dream crumble before her eyes, and João Raul is about to discover that he may have been deceived in the cruelest way possible. But Leandro steps on Tom Bastos' ribs and makes the scoundrel confess everything in front of João Raul. In the next chapter of the telenovela Corazón Acelerado, the pain reaches a point that seems impossible to bear. After so many humiliations, cruelties, and doors closing in her face, the young singer faces yet another blow that leaves her devastated. The scene began inside Janette's house. Brodo is on the living room floor, devastated, her face wet with tears and her eyes red from crying so much. She tries to take a deep breath, tries to compose herself, but the pain is too great. The dream that seemed so close-lipped slipped through her fingers. Standing, cold and indifferent, Tom Bastos acted as if nothing had happened. For him, everything ended there. Without showing the slightest remorse, he simply let go. The matter is closed. He turned his back to leave, but Jane, who watched everything from the doorway, can no longer contain herself. Blood boils seeing daughter in such a state. She steps toward the businessman, stops right in front of him, and points her finger, her eyes stinging. "You can go, but listen very carefully to what I'll say." Tom stops impatiently, but doesn't answer. Then he continues, now with a firmer, sharper, more dangerous voice. You're never coming back here. Never coming near my daughter again. Never utter her name again, because if you... I swear you won't like what I'm capable of doing. Tom lets out a dry laugh through his nose, as if despising the pain of others. He turns away from Jeanette and heads towards the exit without saying anything more. Still on the floor, Agrado hugs her knees and speaks softly, almost to herself. How could I have believed all this? It is at this moment that the door opens again. Leandro arrives. He sees Tom leaving with that air of someone who thinks he's a winner. Then he looks at Jeanette, standing on the threshold, with a devastated face. Then he enters quickly, and when he sees Agrado on the floor, he stops immediately. Without thinking twice, he crouches down to her level. What happened? The singer tries to answer, but her voice won't come out. She can only shake her head, completely devastated. Leandro then slowly gets up, his gaze changes. His ace. Hardness hardens. He turns to the hallway where Tom is still walking and speaks with a calmness that is more frightening than a scream. Hey, come back here. Tom looks over his shoulder with a wry smile. I have nothing more to say. Leandro takes a step forward. Are you going to reconsider this? Tom tries to keep walking, but Leandro grabs him by the collar of his shirt with one hand and throws him against the wall with such force that a picture frame in the hallway shakes. Tom opens his mouth to scream, but Leandro covers his mouth with his other hand and whispers in a so dangerous voice, Lays. Scream again, and it will be worse. Tom freezes. Leandro slowly releases his hand, without taking his eyes off him. If you deceived that woman in there, know one thing. I am capable of much more than that. Tom holds the pose, but his hands already shake. Leandro tightens his grip on Tom's collar even more. You're only leaving here when you tell me what's really going on, Deke. And in that instant, the fear etched on Tom's face makes it clear that there's something much bigger behind this whole story. I see. The hallway is still shrouded in a heavy silence. Tom Bastos is still pressed against the wall, breathing rapidly, trying to hide his fear. Leandro doesn't take his eyes off him for a single second. In a firm voice, he repeats, I'm going to ask you one more time what you did with pleasure. Tom tries to laugh, but his voice falters. Are you exaggerating? This was just business. Leandro tightens his grip on his collar again. Business doesn't leave anyone like that. Agrado and Jeanette overhear everything. Agrado is standing now, leaning against the wall, still trembling. Jeanette moves a little closer to the door, observing every movement. Leandro continues. You arrived here full of promises, made her believe in a career, and suddenly, it's all over. Why? Tom looks away. Things change. Leandro brings his face closer to Tom's. Lies. Tom tries to push Leandro's hand away, but can't. Look, you have nothing to do with this. Leandro gives a small push that makes Tom hit the wall again. Now I do. The businessman swallows hard. In the room, Jeanette speaks with a choked voice. Leandro, let it go. Leandro glances quickly at her and replies calmly. No. Today, someone will tell the truth. He looks back at Tom. Who told you to come to this city? Tom closes his eyes for a moment, trying to buy time. It was an opportunity. Leandro shakes his head negatively. Wrong. And without warning, he gives Tom a quick punch on the shoulder, strong enough to take his breath away. Tom groans. Okay. Leandro loosens his grip on the collar a little, but continues to hold on tight. Then he says, Tom, take a deep breath. Completely trapped. I was hired. Jeanette's eyes widen. Hired? Leandro immediately asks, by whom? Tom hesitates. Leandro squeezes harder. By whom, Tom? The businessman finally gives in. It was Roni. The name echoes through the house like thunder. Grotto brings her hand to her mouth. Oh, this can't be true. Tom continues, now almost begging for it to end quickly. Legally. He wanted to end your relationship. He wanted to separate you from João Raul. Jeanette explodes. That bastard. Leandro frowns. Explain properly. Tom takes a deep breath. The plan was simple. I would create this partnership with Grotto. I would make her trust me. Then I would end everything. That way she would be without a career, without a project, and without João Raul. Grotto starts crying again. So all of this was a lie? Tom doesn't answer. The silence that settles in the house is heavy. Leandro looks at Grotto, then looks back at Tom, and then makes a decision that changes the course of everything. You will repeat every word of this in front of João Raul. Tom's eyes widen. No, I'm not going to do that. Leandro smiles slightly. Yes, you will. He turns his face towards the living room. Grotto. She slowly raises her head, calls him. Grotto stands motionless for a few seconds. Danae approaches her daughter and holds her hand. My daughter, it's time for the truth to come out. With trembling hands, Grotto picks up her cell phone. She looks at the screen, takes a deep breath, and begins to dial. Why, when João Raul arrives, will nothing in this story be the same? And yet, the phone is still in Grotto's hand. Her heart races as she listens to the ringing on the other end of the line. The whole room seems to hold its breath at that moment. Then the call is answered. Hello, it's João Raul. Grotto closes her eyes for a second, trying to control her voice. João, I need you to come here. On the other end of the line, he notices something strange. Grotto, what happened? She swallows hard. Please, just come. A few seconds of silence. Then he replies, I'm coming. I'm coming. The call ends. Inside the house, no one speaks for a few moments. Tom remains leaning against the wall, clearly nervous. He looks at Leandro and murmurs, Are you meddling in something that's none of your business? Leandro replies without raising his voice, You still don't understand. Now it's my problem. Jeanette crosses her arms and stares at Tom with contempt. You destroyed my daughter's dream for money, Adiku. Tom tries to react. I only did what I was hired to do. Grotto looks directly at him with tear-filled eyes. So all those compliments, all those promises, Tom looks away. It was work. The sentence hits like a knife. Grotto shifts his gaze, striving to control the pain. Jeanette immediately hugs her. My daughter, look at me. Grotto raises her eyes. That doesn't define who you are. Leandro observes the scene in silence, but his gaze remains firm. Today everything will be clarified. Few minutes pass. Suddenly, the sound of a car braking outside. Everyone looks towards the door. Quick footsteps approach. The door opens forcefully. João Raul enters. He stops in the hallway, looking at that strange scene. Tom leaning against the wall. Leandro with a hard look. Jeanette protecting Grotto. The singer frowns. Can someone explain to me what's going on here? Grotto steps forward, but can't speak. Leandro steps forward. The truth. João Raul stares at Leandro. What truth? Leandro points to Tom. What is this man going to tell you now? João Raul looks from one to the other suspiciously. Agrado, you called me here for this. She takes a deep breath. João, I just need you to listen. Leandro then pushes Tom a step forward. Speak. Tom, he hesitates. João Raul crosses his arms. If someone here is playing games with me, it's better to stop now. Leandro stares at Tom again. Tell him everything. The businessman takes a deep breath and finally begins to speak. The partnership with Agrado was never real. João Raul's eyes widen. What do you mean? Tom remains visibly nervous. It was a plan. The entire room falls. And the name he's about to say could turn João Raul's world upside down. In the silence inside the house is so heavy that it feels like time has stopped. João Raul looks directly at Tom, trying to understand what he has just heard. What's this story about a plan? Tom runs a hand over his face, clearly nervous. He looks at Leandro, then at Grado, and finally faces João Raul. I was hired. Raul frowns. Hired by whom? Tom hesitates. Leandro steps forward and speaks. Tom takes a deep breath and blurts it out. It was Roni. The impact of those words ripples through the room. João Raul stands motionless for a few seconds. His gaze changes completely. You're lying. Tom shakes his head. I'm not. Janita intervenes, outraged. This man just confessed everything. But João Raul raises his hand, asking for silence. He slowly approaches Tom. I want to hear from your own mouth exactly what happened. Tom swallows hard. Ron brought me in for good measure. He wanted me to get close to Grido, create this partnership story, gain her trust, Gredo lowers her head, trying to hold back tears. Tom continues. Then I would have to end everything, suddenly leave her without a career, without a project, completely destroyed. João Raul clenches his jaw. For what? Tom replies. So you can get away from her for good. Silence fills the room again. Leandro crosses his arms. Go on. Tom takes a deep breath. He said that if Agrado lost everything, you'd end up thinking she just wanted to take advantage of your fame. João Raul runs his hand through his hair, trying to process it all his soul. Then that old kiss, the gossip. All of that. Tom confirms. It was also part of the plan. Agrado finally speaks, her voice trembling. You destroyed my life out of envy. Tom replies. Jeanette explodes. Bunch of cowards. But João Raul remains silent for a few seconds. Then he takes the car keys from his pocket. Agrado takes a step forward. João! He doesn't look back. I need to take care of something, Leandro. Leandro asks, where are you going? João Raul replies, already walking towards the door. To talk to Ron. The door slams shut as he leaves. Outside, the car engine starts immediately. Inside the house, Agrado feels her heart tighten. Jeanette holds her daughter's hand. The truth has come out, my daughter. Leandro looks out the window, watching the car disappear down the street, and says in a low voice, now it's his turn to hear everything. But what João Raul is about to do could change everyone's destiny. And more, João Raul's car disappears down the street while tension still hangs inside Janette's house. The revelation has just changed everything. For a long time, Agrado believed she had lost everything through her own fault. But now the truth has begun to emerge. In the living room, silence still dominates the atmosphere. Agrado is sitting on the sofa, trying to understand everything that happened. Isolde, Jeanette approaches, slowly sits beside her daughter and holds her hands up. Look at me, my daughter. Agrado raises her eyes, still teary. I feel so stupid, Mom. But I believed everything. Jenny shakes her head affectionately. No, my daughter. Those who believe in others aren't stupid, they're human. What's wrong is using people's trust to do harm. Leandro, leaning against the door, observes the conversation and calmly adds, those who fabricate lies may win for a while, but the truth always comes out, too. Agrado takes a deep breath. Little by little, something inside her begins to change. The pain is still there, but now there's something new. Strength. Jenny holds her daughter's face and says, you will still achieve all your dreams. Yeah, thank you. Dreams, and when that happens, it will be much bigger than any dirty plan they made against you. Grado finally lets out a small, still shy smile. I just wanted a chance. Leandro replies immediately. And you still have one. Actually, now you have more than before, Ayarus. Jeanette agrees. Why? Now you have the truth on your side? And this story leaves a great reflection for those watching. In life, we often go through moments that seem too unfair again. Moments when it seems that everything is crumbling, that people are against us, that our dreams have been destroyed. But there is something that no one can defeat forever, the truth, and the courage to continue. Whoever moves forward, even after falling, ends up finding a path they never imagined. And perhaps that is exactly what is beginning now for Grado Quedo. A new beginning. While João Raul goes in search of answers, a question remains in the air. What will happen when he finally confronts Ron Tesseract? If you believe that the truth always comes out in the end, leave your like here on the video and also tell me in the comments which city you are watching the soap opera from. Bishakta Tenin Yusuf.